I feel very tired this morning, probably because yesterday
It was a very tiring day. On top of that, I woke up early yesterday.
After saying hi to Shizune and Misha, I start doing the work as instructed on the board. It already looks like today is going to be heavy. I don't have a problem with that now, though. Shizune and Misha might jump on me trying to get an answer about whether or not I've decided to join the student council, even if it's just one day. Wouldn't put it past them to try, and I don't have an answer for them if they do, so this situation is convenient for me. About 10 minutes into class, Hanako walks in and takes a seat, but no one looks at her. The teacher doesn't even comment on her lateness. He does, however, stop us to say that we're going to break into groups again. I turn my head and see that Shizune and Misha are looking at me. Shizune gives me a smile that is equal parts cute and menacing. This is a smile that says, "We have you now, there is no escape."
Hee-chan, it looks like we're together again. Yay, yay!
Misha leans sideways while Shizune pushes her desk closer to mine. There really is no escape now, unless I were to jump through the window. Jumping out the window isn't the best option, sadly.
What's wrong, Hee-chan? Oh, Hee-chan, have you been thinking about what you said yesterday? You said that you would think about joining the student council, didn't you? It's okay, Hee-chan, we were talking about it after you left, and it would be so rude to expect you to already have an answer for us this early, right? Right? Ha 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 ha!
I'm so happy you're able to have a laugh at my expense, and even more pleased to know that you both know how crazy the two of you can be. Oh, that's so. Shizune snaps back into serious mode and smacks today's assignment with the back of her hand in an overly dramatic and important way. When I actually look at the stuff, it's mostly just reading. In fact, there are only two problems. I almost want to say something about how her rush to get started seems a bit much, considering the small amount of work. In fact, Shizune probably knows how little there is and simply doesn't care. Yet it seems like the workload doesn't matter to her as much as the fact that there's work. The actual amount is unimportant. She approaches everything with the same level of ambition. While I'm reading, I let my eyes wander around the room and catch Hanako drying her hand at solving the problems. It looks like she's working alone. I can't remember seeing her working with other people before. Thinking back to how shy she is understandable. Hey, that girl over there.
Huh? Who's she-chan?
He-chan, I mean. Her, Hanako, over there. Does she always work alone?
I think so, Hee-chan. Do you feel sorry for her because she's alone?
I was just thinking that maybe she could work with us or something.
No, I don't think that would be a good idea, Hee-chan.
Why not?
She-chan wouldn't get along with her.
Why? Misha shuffles around the question, letting out a laugh that sounds very strange. It's nervous, but still has that lifting and lilting up and down quality present in everything she says.
Just because, Hee-chan.
By now, Shizune has noticed our conversation and makes me realize again how Misha has been signing everything she had been saying the whole time.
What? She-chan, the friend of my enemy is my enemy? That sounds so harsh. I'm not going to say that.
You just did. You said it anyway.
I know, Hee-chan. It's fine if you overhear.
I wonder if this is Misha's way of keeping things fair, since without her I wouldn't be able to understand the thing Shizune is saying, and vice versa. Is that also why she signs all the time, so there is never a conversation Shizune will be left out of?
Anyway, we should start on the problems now, Hee-chan.
We've finished with time spare and decide to ask if there are any alternatives to the cafeteria, but certainly the food so far has been subpar. This sends Shizune and Misha arguing among themselves about their favorite restaurants, all of them downtown, so I don't think we have time to go all the way there. And what about the bill? Are they arguing just for the fun of it? Maybe they seem so distracted by it that they don't even realize the start of the actual lunch break. Don't even notice it, I mean. I look over my shoulder towards the back of the classroom. She seems to be studying her notes from the previous class. It's an odd sight. Everyone else in the class is busying themselves with a lunch break. Socializing, gossiping, rearranging desks, the ones with actual box lunches mixed in and chattering like everyone else. They're only interrupted by short bouts of eating. But when I watch Hanako, it feels that I'm the only one who can see her, almost as if she was invisible, sort of hiding in plain sight. she being bullied? Is she isolating herself from the rest of the class on her own accord? I see her look over her shoulder towards the classroom's rear door. Come to think of it, she hasn't turned the page since I started watching her. I guess she's waiting for someone. What to do? I think we read a book, but let me check. I don't know when to actually stop this recording, you see, you know? And now that I'm like kind of reminded of Hanako's characters, no wonder why I paid more attention to her character, because she kind of reminds me of me in a way. I tend to kind of like, I'm more of the kind of like, stay away from the loudness of like, everyone else kind of thing. When I was in school, when it came to lunch break and that, I was kind of just like, I wouldn't even go to the cafeteria. Well, I would, but I've mentioned it before, I'd like get a drink out of the vending machine, not even drink it, and just like, that'd be it. Just like, what, man, you don't have anything to eat at lunch break? That's just how awkward I was with that. Heck, if I still had to do something like that, I'd imagine I'd still have trouble with it. It's just an awkward kind of situation for me. But anyway, let's read our book. I do what I always do when I don't know what to do. Like now. I've already started on one of the books I borrowed yesterday and took it with me to school to fill the empty moments between classes. I found the page that creased the corner off to mark the spot I left yesterday night and pick up from there. Misha and Shizune are still arguing heatedly, probably about restaurants still. If I joined them, I'd just get caught up in that, or worse, get grilled about joining the student council. Misha isn't speaking aloud since there is nobody who'd need to hear what they are talking about. But why does she tend to sign things even when Shizune doesn't need to understand what's being said? Or even more strangely, when Shizune is not around at all. What an odd conflict of habits. I find it hard to focus on the book, and besides, the lunch break beckons me to leave the dullness of the classroom. I do so, heading down for the cafeteria. Misha and Shizune, having come to the conclusion of one kind or another, follow in my wake, though still talking in their animated fashion. Just around the corner, here she comes! Something hits me in the chest with the force of a runaway train! Ouch. Opening my eyes, I see a pair of saucer-like green eyes looking up at me. They belong to the perpetrator, a short girl who bumped into me and has now fallen down onto the hallway floor. She wears a PE uniform and very worried frown. The former strikes me as a rather strange thing to have on during a lunch break. More striking than that, though, is that she doesn't have legs. Or she does, but they are not flesh and bone, and are pale and very much flesh and bone thighs and in shins and feet made of some black metallic or plastic-like material. They look disturbingly artificial and unnatural. It almost makes me forget that my chest is hurt. The girl winces a little, rubs her nose, and jumps up. Oh man, hey, are you alright? I'm sorry about that, really. I wasn't looking where I was going and you just came out of nowhere. Sorry. She's looking really apologetic in the hurt puppy way of looking apologetic. I quickly forget about being angry or anything since hurt puppies are my weak spots. It's okay, don't worry about it. Ouch. I say that, but there's a stinging pain growing in my chest and I know that this is about the biggest possible danger for my condition. Don't overexert yourself, don't forget your medication, and most of all, don't get hit in the chest. I try to rub my solar plexus to chase the pain away, holding my breath in an attempt to hear my heartbeat. It seems normal. Hey, should I get a nurse? The worried, high-pitched, is it a nurse? I can't do that, though. The worried high-pitched voice of the girl snapped me out of it. I stared at her for a few seconds, dumbfounded, until I realized that I probably looked worse off than I really was, stumbled over myself and looking all tense. Damn, I'm awfully worried about my heart. Well, I mean, it is pretty important. No need, I'm fine. Managing to say something in response, I pull myself upright, feeling my sore ribs one last time, and take a deep breath. She just knocked the wind out of me big time, but it's nothing more than that. You sure you're okay? I hit you pretty hard. It's okay, I said it was fine, and nothing's broken, no harm done. That's good, I feel a hand on my shoulder at the same time, the girl's eyes widening. Eep! I didn't click on anything. Eep at what? Eep at what? She was saying gets interrupted by a very horrified... Ah, I don't have time to look behind me because Shizune has already shoved me aside and stomping over to the girl, signing furiously at her.
Miss Ibarazaki, I saw that. Running in the halls is strictly forbidden.
Misha translates right on Shizune's tail, but her voice is girlishly playful, not full of the divine fury Shizune's arm movements would seem to call for.
Sorry, I was just going to get some stuff. I was kind of in a hurry. You've been told this 1,000 times before. Your reckless behavior endangers all students, and even worse, is explicitly against the school regulations.
Yeah, that's much worse than endangering the other students. The girl blushes and starts to fidget nervously like a little child caught misbehaving. It's so cute, cute, I find myself smiling.
I know that I was just... Make sure that this will not happen again, although I'm sure telling you this is futile and only causes me further headache when you choose to ignore the regulations. Got that, Emmy?
The small girl sticks her tongue out in response.
I gotta go. Teacher will have my head. I promised to help with printouts, but I went running instead. Sorry, but I've got to change and everything.
So yeah, that's Emmy, whose rat will be going through first. I'm kind of... You know, since like now that I've been recording for how long? Over 2 hours? Are you serious? Man, I've got quite a few parts in this recording, haven't I? I'm like gonna continue recording until every character, at least like the main characters, have been introduced, you know? So yeah, before me sure Shizune or I can say anything, she's already bolted from where she was a second ago, almost halfway towards the stairwell. Shizune looks like she's about to go nuclear on the spot, so I smile at her in a vain attempt to calm her down.
Are you okay, Hichan? That Zaki girl is always like that, causing trouble to others.
You know, I'm pretty certain Shizune wouldn't call me Hichan.
Never mind.
Yeah, anyway, I'm okay, just got the wind knocked out of me.
That's great, Hichan.
I wouldn't call that great, but I let it slide this time.
We have to run now. There's an important student council meeting regarding the festival, and we finally decided where to eat. Too bad you can't join, but this lunch meeting is only for council members. We can take you there some other time. Oh, but that'd be like a date, wouldn't it?
The girls leave for downstairs. I didn't manage to get far from the third floor hallway before all this commotion struck. Literally, I should get going as well. The lunch and the afternoon class pass uneventfully. I read most of the book I had started yesterday and ate some of the mostly inedible offerings of the cafeteria. The class is tiresome. The teacher seems like an okay person despite the weird first impression I got, and the material is relatively interesting. However, the way he teaches is really bizarre. It's as if he expects that everyone is a natural genius. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there's still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. That kind of reminds me of me a bit. Just like, whenever... Like, sometimes when I pick up my guitar and I'll just be like, I'll just play something and I'll like, kind of like explain it a bit. Just like, so yeah, like you do this and that and this and that. Just like if anyone actually were to actually be paying attention to that, just like, yeah, I want to learn this, that you actually just brought up. And then just like, but your way of explaining it kind of makes it like, so that the person who would actually, you know, learn from it would be the person that actually knows. I don't know. It just kind of seems kind of similar. When the final bell sounds, I realize that there is still a lot of time left in the day, and I'm left wondering what to do. It's odd that the hospital had 24 hours a day of free time, but here filing considerably shorter hours feels difficult. Everyone else leaves, and I'm left alone with the teacher. Mito is examining the assignment sheets we were working on earlier, marking them with a red ball pen. Raising his eyes from his papers briefly, he notices me and furrows his brow. What is it, Naka? I jump at his addressing me, but I guess it's natural to spark some conversation since there is nobody else around. Nothing. Thinking about what I do after school. Teacher slowly puts the cap on the pen he is holding and arranges his papers into a stack, collecting it against the desk twice. Seems very methodical, and for a brief moment I'm reminded of Shizune, but the teacher is more unhurried and relaxed, much more routine. You haven't no plans? No, I considered joining a club, but I don't know what kind of club would interest me. Go observe a meeting of someone else's clubs. It might pique your interest. I guess. But I don't know how to continue from there. Mito looks at me in a way that makes me quickly want to take the words back to avoid a conversation. I can't, so I have to forge ahead. I just don't know how to deal with people, yellow students. I'm talking to people and everything, so it's not that I'd be isolated or anything. I just don't know what to think about. Disabilities, it's like, it feels that I'm being impolite if I pay attention to them, and it's weird to ignore them. Damned if I do, damned if I don't. Teacher scratches his cheek, absent-mindedly looking very unresponsive. These things are only an issue if you make them one. You can talk normally with someone even if they are blind or something. Try to look behind the superficial. There's not a single student here who isn't just a normal kid behind whatever they might seem at first glance. See? That's what I'm talking about, Isao. He says the same thing as Yuko did. I know they're right, but it's hard. How can you not consider, for example, Shizune's deafness when the only way to communicate with her is to talk through Misha? Or Hanako, it's not like you can ignore her face. But I'm interrupted by the door of the classroom suddenly slamming open. Teacher! Misha crashes in, and straightening in an enthusiastic greeting, her voice loud and lively enough to wake the dead from their graves. She starts towards the teacher's desk with her bouncing step, hands energetically swinging with the ribbon. Mito visibly dismayed at the interruption, and Misha in general slumps in his chair. Miko. Misha stops in her tracks and looks around, cluelessly as she's sensing from his tone that something's wrong but has no idea what. Yes? We have talked about volume control before. You know, it's weird. So used to her nickname that when it comes to her actual name, just like, who? Oh, yeah, that's her name, isn't it? Yes, hi. But she doesn't lower her voice at all, and the teacher just rubs his eyes. So, what is it? We need help. We are running out of supplies for the festival stands. This is a distress. She waves the pink slip of paper she's holding around. So, go get some more supplies from the art room. What's the problem with that? Plywood. Plywood is always the problem. Last time we wanted more, there was only a little, but that time we just took it all and went with that. Now there's like none left there, so do you know where there is some? I don't understand. How would I know? Shitan, the president thought that a teacher would know if there is plywood. Is she wrong? Mito looks like he is in great pain, frowning with his entire essence, and Misha doesn't get it at all. Looking at the two of them communicate is terrible, like looking at a man being tortured by drilling his skull open while blasting pop music at full volume at the same time. I'm afraid I have no idea if there's any plywood in the school, let alone where it would be if there was any. What should I do? Perhaps try to find Mr. Nomiya. I'm quite sure he would know where to find everything you need. You'd have to pry them from his cold dead hands, but that's a different matter. I don't have time, we're so busy. She holds her head with both of her hands, looking as despairing as it's possible for a person like her. Without even noticing, she crumbles the note she's holding against her hand. I shouldn't even be fetching these things, there's so much to do and we are falling behind the schedule. Mito looks at her gravely and then suddenly smiles. Smiling doesn't really fit his face. I'd think it'd be better if he didn't. I wonder if you could get some temporary help. He switches to staring at me foolishly with a hard expression, as if trying to say, go make some friends. I guess I can give you a hand. You can? Thanks, Hee-chan. You are really nice. She pauses, does a double take, and then points at me with her finger, yelping, and looks very puzzled. Come to think of it, what's Hee-chan doing here? Class is over, you should be having fun. We just had a little chat. Oh no, it's not detention, is it? Are you in trouble, Hee-chan?
He-chan in trouble, teacher?
No, it's not. Mito sighs deeply and feels and I feel that I have to help Misha to get her off the teacher's back. So, what do you need?
Here's a list. I can try to find the plywood from somewhere if there's none in the art room. She offers me the note she's holding, and I take it hesitating a bit.
I said I'll help out, but this has no implications on whether I'm joining the council or not.
Still, thanks, He-chan. Try to be quick. We are in a stall building streak now. We must hurry, hurry, hurry.
She bounces out of the classroom, leaving me and the teacher looking at each other with something that feels like a silent agreement. Well, there you have it, Nakai. You have something to do now. Please don't sound so smug. Java, you and your updates, piss off. Looking at the list, we have a number of items ranging from paint to plywood, all written with small, neat handwriting as undoubtedly she's in age. I heave a sigh. I'll be going then. Waving the long list limply at the teacher, I exit the hallway. This has got to be one of the longest recording sessions I've ever done when it comes to visual novels. I think, anyway. The classrooms closest to ours are designated belonging to classroom. Main classes 3-1 and 3-2 on the right side and 3-4 on the left side, each door looking exactly the same. Well, down the corridor, still with identical doors, are rooms that I didn't think were useful classes. I guess the art room is not a classroom as such. I carefully push open the furthest door and peek in. It's a classroom, but it seems rather badly kept or not in use. Am I in the right place? This kind of, well, I suppose it's fitting, really, isn't it? I'm reminded of Katawa Shoujo. Like, they have, like, an art room that looks pretty much, well, not identical, but I guess it has a similar look to it. But that's kind of the point, isn't it? It's an art room. But that just, like, reminded me of it, I don't know, but whatever. Desks and chairs are all around the room, a thin layer of dust settled on them. There are some easels in the corner, sir. At least this looks like the right place. Room is flushed in sunlight from the big windows, shadows creeping all over the desks. Specks of dust are dancing in the stagnant air, making the beams of light almost visible. Jokingly, I call into the empty room. Anybody home? Something catches my eye, and I stop mid-sentence. Sitting on a desk is a short-haired girl, curiously wearing a boy's uniform with a fork between her toes and a morsel of food stuck firmly on the end. This odd way of dining seems to be caused by her apparent lack of hands, but her presence here is what takes me aback even more. How did I miss her before? She's sitting in a corner very still, but I still somehow took her as part of the furniture, or a statue at first glance. Not being too observant today as a whole. The girl seems to be frozen in place, staring at me with her huge eyes like a rabbit in headlights. She's staring at me, her mouth wide open, ready to accept the fork. I'm staring at her, my mouth wide open, suddenly remembering I didn't finish my sentence and trying to think if I should. This weird stalemate keeps us both stunned into silence, punctuated only by the wall clock ticking rhythmically. Hello? The girl stuffs the forkful in her mouth and is now staring at me expectantly while chewing. This is a bit awkward. Hello, I was told to pick up some supplies from here for some festival stores, I think. I didn't think there would be someone here. There isn't, that's why I came here too. She picks up another forkful. Does that mean you're here then? She raises her eyebrows as if she was suspecting my observation was false. You're pretty observant, I guess it does, but who are you? This girl is pretty straightforward, isn't she? Straightforward? Oh, you've got a lot to learn, Sao. Sao Nakai, and it's transferred in on Monday. I'm Rin Tezuka. I won't shake hands with you, but at least we know who we are now. That's very nice. Her deadpan manner of talking makes it hard to determine whether she's joking about shaking hands or not. It kind of bores me joking about these matters doesn't feel appropriate at all. While I'm trying to figure out what's appropriate and well this girl is, she seems to have lost interest in me and is now gazing yearningly back at her food. Can I continue my lunch if you don't mind me? I won't mind you. If you need to get your stuff, the supplies are at the back. Go right ahead, but lunch? School's already over for the day. What word would you use then? There is no way for a meal you eat after lunch but before dinner, right? Bores me very much too, but I don't really know what I should say. I don't think you're supposed to eat a meal between lunch and dinner to begin with.
Well, I'm hungry now. My delicious box lunch would go to waste otherwise. I have curry. It's very delicious. With much decisiveness, Rin once again picks up the fork between her toes, and with at least as much impoliteness, she points it straight at me. So, Dakai, what brings you to this place? Well, like I said, I was told to look for these things. No, the school. From outside, you look fine. Is your problem inside? I come to a full stop, opening my mouth, but not getting a word out. I can guess. I'm good at guessing, better than most people. Rin cuts me off before I can answer her question or skirt around it somehow. I don't know which I would have done. I froze in front of this issue again. I haven't even told anyone here about my condition, or maybe it's only because it hasn't really come up. I do get the feeling that not making issues of this is part of the social code here, as the teacher said. I wonder if the people here could relate. Probably not any better than any normal person could. I can't relate to Shizune's circumstances or Lily's either. Naturally, while I go through this in my head, Rin keeps considering what my condition could be with an hopefully contemplative look on her face. She puts her fork between her lips and leans back, looking at the ceiling as if the answer was written up there. A beam of light illuminates her face from the window side, creating a mask of dark shadow on the other side. I don't think it's anything in your head, and something in your guts would be boringly ordinary, like this lunch of mine, and less delicious. The problem must be in your pants.
This messed up Sherlock Holmes kind of statement, and the sheer lack of tact with what was delivered with catches me completely off guard. I think I might have reeled back even physically as Rin's eyes widened in revelation and astonishment.
So I was right, there's something wrong with your tackle, isn't there?
Still partially in shock, but recognizing the need to reply something, I spit out the first thing that I can think of. No, nothing like that. I have a heart problem, arrhythmia. I said it more like blurted it out, but I said it. The girl in front of me presses her lips together and glowers at me, looking very disappointed.
How boring. Trouble in the pants would have been much more scandalous.
What's with this reaction? I'm sorry to let you down.
I forgive you, just I collect people... Wait, I collect people? And a person with, that kind of problem would have been really great.
Collect people?
People with different problems.
So you just, go around asking people what's wrong with them?
Pretty much.
I can imagine it being in a kind of blunt kind of way where you're just like, so what's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? It's like, who do you think you're talking to? He's just like, I don't know, but what's wrong with you? You're like, the nerve! What's wrong with me? He's like, that's what I'm asking. What the hell's your problem? No, what's your problem? That's what I'm asking for. It'd be a roundabout. I see. We have little left to say. Rin resumes her lunch and the conversation dies away, but I keep thinking about what she said. What was said. It's the first time I told anyone else about my condition. All the other people have either known about it already or heard about it from someone else. Or didn't need to know about it. It's like every other student here so far. Should I have told it as a natural part of introductions? Is it expected of me? Hi, Mr. I have a very serious heart condition. Is that how I'm supposed to go around and introduce myself from now on? As if our disabilities would define us? What a disgusting thought. Or maybe this Tezuka girl just has an unnatural interest in such things. As I walk to the back of the room to pick up the items on Misha's list, a chance opens to study Rin from the corner of my eye. Her hair is burnt amber and almost orange and cropped short. Long hair would probably be impossible with no arms. The boy's uniform and the lack of arms would make her look very thin, almost scrawny. She is not particularly pretty except for her murky green eyes, which flicker restlessly from below her short bangs even when she eats. The distance and the shadows make it seem like they don't reflect sunlight at all, but instead absorb all of it within them like deep wells. She moves her feet almost as deftly as a normal person would use their arms. Whenever I can see how this sight could discomfort people, especially while eating, it makes me feel a bit uncomfortable at least. I hesitate to think about the word unnatural, but it's too late now, isn't it? Keep searching the cabins and shelves for Misha's things, but after enough time passes, the silence grows too uncomfortable, so I try to force some conversation out of this strange girl. So, do you always eat alone and this late, or do you get the occasional visitor?
Visitors, maybe you are my first occasional visitor, but I don't always eat alone either. Sometimes I eat with a certain person on the roof if she's not horsing around. Horsing? She likes to do sports. Oh, and that's all I can think of to say. Both looks fall silent again as Rin forks the last bits of her meal to her mouth. I look down at my hole and double check it. With Misha's list, it seems I have everything except plywood. So I think I have all the things now. That's very nice for you. Don't feel obliged to stay. I was about to take a nap anyway. You need to do whatever you're going to do with that stuff anyway, right? Or perhaps you like to watch girls sleeping. I'm not sure what to make of this, but Rin looks serious. Even if I did, I think I have to be going. I'll catch you around, Zuya. You can call me Rin. I feel that our relationship is at this point good enough to warrant this much. I was already turning to make my exit, but she draws me back in. Fine then, I'm Miss Al. Then you are. Rin looks at me hard in the eyes, but that intimidating feeling you get when someone stares at you isn't there. She has a kind of lazy-ish look on her face, it's like, bye, I guess. It's like she's actually not looking at me at all. She blinks a couple of times, and I can't figure out why a pause like this just popped between us out of nowhere. See you later, Hassan. There is something like a tiny smile there in her face. Maybe. I quietly back out of the room. As I shut the door in front of my face, I whisper to myself. One intriguing person. From inside, I hear a muffled sing-song voice. I heard that! What did she hear? I jump at the sudden appearance of Misha, who I had not heard approaching despite the completely empty hallway. Somehow she'd gotten to jumping distance of me without making a sound. Creepy. It briefly reminds me of Kenji's nutty theory about a global feminist conspiracy, but I pushed that forward aside. Shizune, standing slightly behind Misha, looks aloof as she couldn't have heard the remark that drew Misha's attention, but Misha is visibly excited. No wait, more importantly, who is in there? There's no club meetings today. She tries to curiously peek past me even though the door prevents her from seeing anyway. What are you doing here? You took so long we had to come check what's wrong. That's no good, Hee-chan. She wags her fingers at me scoldingly. I found plywood, but everything else is still missing because you are tardy. Oh, sorry, got the things here we was just gonna bring them. I think you were up to some mischief, Hee-chan. Who was in there with you, I wonder? Misha signed something quickly to Shizune, pointing at her own ear a couple of times. Shizune immediately pushes her way past me and opens the door into the classroom I just left. I can only imagine the shock she is experiencing. With Shizune's diligence and attitude, the insolence, the absolute insolence of daring to deface poverty by sleeping on top of it must be too much to bear. And indeed, she said that Rin, frozen in place, apart from the slight but noticeable trembling of her shoulders, from suppressed rage, I'm sure. Instead of blowing up, Shizune just takes a few deep breaths, adjusts her glasses, and slams the door shut, turning to sign furiously at Misha. Maybe she did blow up, but I can't understand it. Well, of course she did. She just without, I mean, when people kind of angrily, it's kind of voiced it, but, you know. Instead, I will sign angrily. That stupid girl thinks she has the nerve to... I'm just, you can't see it, but I'm just furiously sign languaging without actually knowing sign language. Just kind of doing examples, but then it's wait, you can't say that, because whatever. She shoots a very loaded stare at me too, as if it was somehow my fault that Rin is sleeping on one of the tables. I hope she's not getting any funny ideas about the reason of my tardiness. Well, Rin's voice comes from the other side of the door, and it takes a few eye blinks to realize she might have trouble opening it. Open the door to find Rin directly behind it, looking at us with a half-interested, half-sleepy face. You know, I wonder, she's got no arms, so when it comes to doors, what type of doors? Is it the handle one? Because honestly, this is out of laziness for me, or usually if I got my hands full, but I have a habit of opening gates and doors just using my foot. Just I push down on the handle, push door open. No arms, hands required. Hello. Miss Tezuka, what do you think you were doing? You absolutely are not permitted to use school property for such disgraceful activity. It sure is suddenly very crowded in here. I didn't know I was this popular. It's hard to say whether she's happy or unhappy about the turn of events. At any rate, she ignores Shizune Misha's scolding, so they have no choice but to drop the issue. Shizune taps Misha's shoulder, points at Rin, and makes some quick signs. Popularity aside, please don't do that anymore. Anyway, how's your project going? Will it be done for the festival? Rin looks at them blankly, apparently at ease under the pressure Shizune's cold stare is putting on her. I keep wondering about that myself too. And? We'll think about it harder. As Misha signs her reply to Shizune, her face turns into an unsatisfied frown. Miss Tezuka, please try to take this seriously. It'll be a disaster if the wall looks like someone threw out their lunch onto it. Rin nods assertively. We'll think more seriously. Misha actually giggles at that, but Shizune doesn't, not even after translation. She just shakes her head, takes the materials from me, and takes off with Misha in tow. Rin frowns thoughtfully as she looks after the retreating student council duo. That face every time though just amuses me. I just like, okay, look at the painting and look at her face and kind of compare the two. It almost seems like they've got a similar looking expression going on. Heck, even the hair color is a bit similar. How rude. It's true though, I must finish my project before the weekend. There will be dire consequences if I don't. The end of the world as we know it. Like, weekends usually are, but more dire. Much more dire. Maybe I'll postpone my nap to an unforeseen future. Such a random character. We're about to ask what project she has and what are these apocalyptic consequences, but she walks back into the art classroom. Since you have nothing to do, would you give me a hand? The paint, this paint can doesn't fit into my bag, but I need it. She kicks slightly at a huge can of paint that's lying on the floor next to the table she was sitting and sleeping on. It lets out a dull clang. Being the gentleman I am, I naturally pick it up. Heavy. Yeah, sure. Where do you need to take it? Away. And with that, she takes off to the hallway, me and the paint can following since there's little choice for either of us. Always quiet and empty now with Shizune and Misha gone, so we too leave towards the stairwell at the other end. Every 10 or 15 or 20 steps I have to change the can from one hand to another because the fin handle cuts into my palm. At least it keeps my arms from tiring too fast. Rin strolls on beside me with an uneven pace that I have trouble matching, or maybe I'm walking weird because of the extra weight. Seems one of us is constantly walking too slow or too fast, and I can't figure out which. 2 flights of stairs below, and trouble appears in the form of the head nurse and his fox-like grin. Ah, Mr. Nakai, what a happy coincidence. Tezuka too, of course. He nods curiously to Rin, who does not acknowledge him back, then turns to me because obviously it's me who he had some business with. There's something I forgot to mention on Monday. But you know what? So, I'm going to tell you in the next part, because we finally got to conclude this recording. How long has it been? 2 hours, 38 minutes. That's quite a long time you've been playing there. Well, call it a part then. So yeah, long-ass recording. But I wanted at least for every character to at least appear, you know? I'll finally get the introduction before calling the recording. Obviously, you're going to be split into parts, but still, you get the idea. So I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time. Oh, wait. Might as well save on screen. It has a kind of like save state thing going on here, which is a bit odd. I think there's another way to save, isn't there? Well, I'm not sure. Can't really remember. Because in options, it's... yeah, it doesn't really have an option to save in the options, just there. Well, anyways, I'll see you next time, viewers. See you next time.